Hey everybody, it's George here at Vinyl Rescue. I'm going to get started on another turntable. As you can see, this one's sort of in pieces. This is a Technics SL-D303 fully automatic turntable with automatic record selection that's built into the platter, along with these devices or mechanisms here. I already got this one torn apart because I was using it while troubleshooting another one that was sent to me from Connecticut that I had quite the time with. But luckily I was able to get it up and running and back to the customer, and he's happy with it, so can't complain. You already got the auto mechanism out of it. Got to get it cleaned. As you can see, this thing is pretty filthy. You know, when you get them from eBay or Goodwill, can't remember exactly where I got this one from. Pretty dirty, so I'm gonna do the regular cleaning. I'm gonna try to show some more detail, particularly with this switch here. It's the power switch. This one's sticky. It does have grease in here in the piston where the button pushes through. A lot of times it just needs to be thoroughly cleaned out and re-lubed with some silicone lube, and it works just fine. So I've already got a new power cord installed on it due to the troubleshooting. Here's the, good Lord, Matt, this is the cutout. It's on the you can see there for the auto record selector. It has to be on here. Now this can be disabled by removing this part here, and I believe you can remove this part here, but mainly if you just remove this, then if you want to put a different platter mat on here, you can remove this, and then you can put any mat on here that you want. But I will try to put this back to original because it did work before. So, and then we have the bottom plate that needs to be thoroughly cleaned. I'm going to check with the serial number and see when this thing was manufactured exactly. So other than that, I'm going to get started on this one today and go through all the switches, check the caps. This only has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 caps. So I just might go ahead and recap this one too, like I did the last one. It's no biggie, just to make sure everything working properly. Going to also take apart this Tonearm dampening piston and re-lube it and clean up and re-grease everything in here, and apply some new silicone lube in here. Make sure that it Tonearm drops nice and slow instead of dropping fast and then skipping over the first part of the record. We're going to install RCA jacks and a ground post here. Like the last 303, you're going to put the RCA jacks right here, and the Tonearm wires will be long enough to reach them, so it'll be a direct connection from Tonearm wiring to the jacks. I do have one hinge here that is broken. I do have the new part on hand already, so this has a lot of cleaning it needs to be done. That switch seems to be okay. So I'm going to also show, I think I showed before how to tear apart the pitch wheel here, because once you get it cleaned out, you're going to have a better consistent speed when you're 33 or 45. Does have adjustable pots here because this is not a quartz lock. Once we get it all cleaned up and get ready to tune it up, we will be adjusting these with the pitch wheel in the center position, so that way there'll be a minimal amount of pitch wheel action that you need to adjust. So just wanted to highlight getting this one started since it's already torn apart. I do have others in my garage that I need to work on, but since I've got this one torn apart, I'm going to go ahead and get it going. So let the fun begin. And the first thing I'm going to start on is this auto mechanism plate. I learned on another video is to get rid of all this old grease on here, I'm just going to soak it down really good and let it set for most of the day, spraying it down with some WD-40. But I want to take out this switch here beforehand and get this wiring off. I don't want the WD-40 to get inside and mess up the switch or any of the electrical connectors here. May or may not hurt, but I prefer not to screw up anything, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna try to get this thing going through here. Come on. Well, clean that up a little bit. So there we go. Yeah, I just found it's easier just to do it this way, and that way I can clean off the wiring separately. I can clean the switch with contact cleaner. All right, I need to remove all this too. This is part of the auto return. Okay, so one more to go. Just need a pair of good needle nose pliers, and you squeeze the nipple part here and pull it through. Okay. Yeah, those need to be cleaned up. Let's see. I forgot something. This is great for putting parts in. So another advantage of recording this is that way I got something to go back on when it comes time to put this all back together. I'm going to put this screw back in. Alright, so I got one screw on the outside here. Okay, I've not taken this out before, so all right, it's got a spring attached here. Yeah. Trying to get this spring out of here. Sort of messing up the end, but I can reform it later. I don't know what they used here, but it's hard to get out. All right. Got to get this end out and then get it to pull out. Okay, looks like I got to take out one more screw. There we go. There we go. Now it just slides right out. Use all this sticky crap. All right, now I can clean this out separately. Okay, so that goes there. I'm just going to clean it separately. So, what I'm going to do here is put this on top of this towel, and then I can I'll prop it up like this, spray it all down, and then let it drain onto the towel. Towel's washable, so let me get my WD-40. I just found it's easier to do it this way and just let it all soak and drain rather than try to dig out everything that's all gunky and everything. This will just loosen up everything really good. All right. Alright, I'm going to let that sit for probably most of the afternoon, and I'll work on some other stuff, like getting this wiring and switch cleaned up. And then we'll move on to other things, because this won't dissolve instantly, but it will if I let it soak. It will dissolve down and make it much easier to clean, so we'll let it go for that now. Well, I'll let this thing soak for a few hours in WD-40. Look, it's grease is all pretty much broke down. And what I'm going to do from here, something I did on another video, got this spray bottle of alcohol, 70%. And I just find overall this is easier to do rather than to sit there and try to nitpick through everything. This will make dissolve down the WD-40. And I'm going to have it set up like this, probably back up against the wall. And when it's sprayed down with alcohol, it's all going to run down on here. Let me double this up. So here we go. So yeah, always looking for. In the Air Force, we had a saying, work smarter, not harder. So I've just learned tricks to try to make this job a little easier. So I'm going to need to refill it a little bit. Here we go. Oh, tipping it over doesn't help. And what this does, this breaks down the WD-40 and the rest of the grease in there, and it's all going to run out. Down on the towel, and then I can come back later and clean it up. So there we go. So just going to sit back there, and I may let it dry out overnight. So I got some other stuff I need to work on in the meantime. So I need to get this wiring all ungummed and ungreased up, and then switch this back over here. Got this switch here I need to clean, contact cleaner, get the rest of the goop and junk off of this wiring, and then need to start working on some other stuff while that's sitting in the background, breaking down and self-cleaning. I guess you call it like a self-cleaning mode. Douse it down and let it sit with WD-40. And I went through with some Q-tips and got any left globs off there, and then soak it down with some alcohol and just let it soak for a while. Dry out, and it'll be clean. Just find it's easier to do, but you think it's best to remove switches ahead of time. Don't want to damage anything, because the WD-40 may not work too well inside the switch, so I don't want to mess up anything. Well, I'm back. I want to point out something here. Where I'm pointing at here, there was a bunch of old dried up grease that was dried up so bad it was like paste. I had to really scrape it off here. Had to shoot it up with some WD-40, because when it's sitting like this with the Tonearm and the rest, this should move freely. It wasn't moving freely before until I shot some WD-40 to discombobulate that dried up grease in there. So now it's working much better. So just need to get it cleaned up and get some lithium grease in there, because we got metal on metal. And then that's, let's see, I've got to take this is the Tonearm dampening piston. I'm going to take it apart and let's see here. I got one screw here, and I can get this top plate and get this to come off here, because I don't want to drop the Tonearm out. That's what I don't need to do. And nasty old grease. Just to get this out of the way so I can get this these two screws, and enough to get the dampening piston out so I can clean and re-lube it with some silicone lube. 500K CST to be specific. Alright, point of interest. To get in to remove this plate here, it's the one screw that's right underneath this spring. You take that out and this comes right out. So now I can clean off the rest of the gooey grease. And then to get the dampening piston out, you got to take the screw out of the top. Let me show you where it's at. Right there, which is what your Tonearm rides back and forth across on for raising it up and down. It's also the screw that you adjust the height on your Tonearm, and either when it's raised up. That's it. So you take that screw out, take that E-clip out, be careful. You got a washer in your spring, and then you can trying to remember right. Yeah, the piston will come out at that point, and then you can clean and re-lube the shaft, the piston, and then put it all back together. You do not have to drop out the Tonearm to do this. Just got to get this plate here out of the way. Alright, slight correction here. In order to get the dampening piston out, you got to remove these 3 screws. I've got them all loosened up, so I'll go ahead and pull them out. Go from there. I already removed the Tonearm rest. Gotta stop dropping stuff. Alright, one last screw. And then it pops out. Now it's still got the spring attached here for the anti-skate, so I'm just going to leave it attached. But as you can see here, got more old grease here to clean off. I'll put some more light on the subject here. So, will it come out now? Yes, but be aware of how it goes back together. You don't have to take all this apart. Ooh, this one's cracked. I guess I will be taking it all apart, because I'm going to have to glue that together. Oh boy. Just slide that out like that. And here's the piston. This is what you got to clean out and re-lube. You got to clean this out also. You can get a Q-tip in there, but you got to take off part of the cotton with some alcohol, and then get that cleaned out. Clean this, and then put a thin coat of 500K CST on here. You can use 3,000. I prefer 5,000 because that way it gives me a slow descent of the cartridge to the album. Because if it drops too fast, it will drop, skip, and go across the first part of the song. If it drops too fast, that's why I make them slow. Not everybody will agree with that, but that's the way I do it, and that way it prevents skipping. So I've got to clean all this out and give this a small clamp with a I don't know if you can see this, there's a crack right there. First one I've seen cracked. I don't think it'll hurt it, but I need to get it to stop cracking or it may fail inside. So alright, I got this glued last night. I learned a method of apply super glue and then some baking powder, super glue and some baking powder. So I put 2 good coats on here. Seems to be holding. Just got to lube the piston up here. Here we go. Don't really have to put a whole lot on here because this stuff will last quite a long time. I did want to put just a hair bit at the opening because sometimes it doesn't, because it's such a close tolerance piece here, it's hard to get the rest of it down inside. So the trick is get this piece to come out just a little bit because you got to have it move enough. Oops. Thank you, carpal tunnel. And then push it in. Then you got to put this piece, turn it back enough where it's pushing on the bottom. Oh, crap, got that wrong. Oh, come on. Okay. This plastic piece has to go in between here. Great. Come on. There we go. Can you see it now? Hopefully you can. That's how it's supposed to go together. That way you push up and down, you get this motion with all the
parts. Alright, excellent. Alright. And the other thing, you have to make sure you get this spring put back on this top notch here, or this part's not going to work. So now we can put it back together. Just 3 screws that holds this down. Gonna make sure there's a flat spring washer for the anti-skate. Want to make sure it goes in between this plate. Goes right here. This is for the anti-skate dial. So normally you can just put just a little bit of grease down there. I'll put some synthetic grease in there so it'll keep it lubed. It doesn't need a whole lot. Just pretty much just to keep it in place and keep it from wearing itself out, because you got metal on plastic. Or you got a piece of metal between 2 pieces of plastic, so just a little dab of synthetic grease will be just fine. That'll help it keep it in place. So now I got to put some grease here, not much, just for the sliding part here, and then we can bolt it back down, and then sort of self-explanatory it goes. Well, I'll hold the washer out for this demonstration here. Okay, there, goes right down like that. Make sure this is in between here, because this goes back to the lever on the front of the turntable plinth for putting your tone arm up and down. I forgot to point out a couple little details here. Okay, before I put this piece here on that was cracked, I did put some silicone lube underneath here. I didn't use the 5000K, I used the 250K to have, and I forgot I need to put a little bit of lube in here. Most of the lube that I cleaned off of here was not grease, it was the silicone lube that's used for the piston. So all the moving parts here, like here, this metal piece where this goes back and forth underneath, hopefully you can see it, this point right down in here, I'll put a little bit of the lube there, so that way it won't dry out over the years, and you get proper lubrication in there. So there we go. So I'm just going to shoot a little bit of 250 in there. Stuff is sticky and messy. Put my little tip on here, and going to inject some right into here. Okay, that's good. So, alright, I think that's about it. I just go put some grease here, which I had mentioned before. So I just wanted to go back and mention about putting a couple points of silicone lube to keep everything moving freely, but also give it a fluid action you know, nothing quick or anything, because you don't want the Tonearm to be dropping fast. So anyway, just wanted to update you on a little bit of lube points there. If you're digging into these Tonearm pieces here for the dampening. Alright, we're going to get into the power switch here, removing. There's basically 1, 2, 3 screws for removing it. We're going to remove the middle one here for the little boomerang lever here. So we can get this off of here. I've had 2 of these broken, one on a 303 and the other on a 202, or maybe there was 2, I don't know, but this plastic piece here on this switch body, switch assembly here, tends to break off. And I still got the old parts. I'm thinking about finding a way to clean it off and then run a bolt up through the top and put a nut and washer on top, because if this breaks, your Tonearm, you won't be able to raise or lower your Tonearm. So this black middle plastic piece here where the screw goes into, around a couple of them broken. I've had to replace the whole switch, but their parts are getting harder to find, so I'm going to have to look at making my own fix on them. So, and this just pops out of here. There's a switch here. Hopefully you can see this. It's a little, this is not the worst one I've had. This is sort of okay, but the grease in here is pretty old, looks a little green, moldy, I guess you could say. So this part here will fit in a SL-D302, and the last one I got from an SLQ30, I think it was. It was the same part number, because you got a part number right here, and referenced it with the service manual, and it's the same part. This has got some nasty dust bunnies on it, and nasty old grease here on the slider. This is a little tricky because you got a ball bearing underneath here that rides on a groove, and there's an indent here and an indent here. Get some better light in here, and sort of gives you the up and the down stop positions. And I normally take all this apart, clean it. Just have to be careful taking out the ball bearing, because the ball bearing has a spring loaded on it. And when you take this apart here, let's go ahead and do this so you can see what I'm talking about, because this all needs to be cleaned and re-lubed with some nice synthetic grease. So okay, this, oh, that's right, let me pop this. Gotta pop this off here. It just pulls right out, and then as you can see, it comes apart, because when you put this back together, then you got to put the selector here, slider, back in so it'll stay in place. So now this will rise up, and you can pull it back far enough. See, there's the ball bearing and there's the spring, and look at all this dirt and nasty, icky, sticky, dirty grease. So let's pull this out. Put the ball bearing down here. So yeah, there's a spring in here. Don't lose it. Okay, now for the switch, you got 2 screws here. Yeah, let's see, how did I get this to come out the last time? Okay, it comes out like this. The wires are glued in this wraparound bracket here, or what do you want to call it. So now you can take off. Ooh. Nasty. So, yeah, it's really sticky. You can take this apart. Just got to pinch it, and this pops right off. Right like this. And there's a spring in here, don't lose it. This does not come out of here, it's pressed in here, but you can see screwdriver. It's just got some really nasty, gooey. I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. All this old grease it's green. It's got chunks of, you know, some kind of buildup over the years. But anyway, that's how you take it apart. I'm not going to bore you with the cleaning, but I'm going to clean it all, and then I'm going to re-lube it all with some nice synthetic grease, and then we'll put it back together because I got to clean all this too. Might be easier. You can pop this out of here. Just have to be careful not break the brackets or the clamp there, because they put some sticky crap on here. There we go. This will be easier just to take to the sink and put some decrease Dawn on here. Yeah. Here you go. And this is the piece here that breaks off. I don't know if you can see all that nasty dirt in there. Yeah. Part of my refurb restoration process here is to take apart and clean everything out and re-lube everything. This is just the beginning on the front. I start here and work my way down. Down this way. So anyway, alright, got everything nice and Dawn power wash cleaned. All the grease removed, all nice and clean. Got the switch all cleaned up. Got this pin here for the push button, for the button here. Put it all back together, cleaned out the spring. Man, all the grease that was down in here was green and moldy. Yeah, whatever. So, I'm going to use some of this. This is the good stuff. When you got plastic on plastic or mixed metal and plastic, this is the best thing to use. So, I'm going to put some here on the pin and then work it in. Alright. Let me get some on the inside here. It's going to seem a little sticky, but once you get it all back together with the button, it works a lot better. It's just when it's alone, standalone like this without the button being pushed, being stationary, makes it a little hard, but it's okay. Okay. Nope, I know where that goes. Okay, normally what I do also is I put a little lube around this. Doesn't need much, just to keep this lubed. And I also put, you know, all the moving parts, just a little bit. Just a light coat. Alright. Oh, that's right. It's supposed to go like this. But we won't put it on just yet. Alright. Get the wires back in the clamp here. I mean, if you want to be a stickler, you could just put a little bit of RTV on there, some silicone lube. I mean, I think you know what I mean. A little bit of silicone adhesive. So let's see here. Need to get the button on here. Have to put the button on and get it to line up. Get it down in there, then get the mount on here. Alright. Alright, that's how you get that all put back together. Okay. Got just a thin coat here, you don't need a whole lot. This is where the slider goes back and forth. Also put some underneath here because it's a little bit of rubbing action here. Alright. I won't lube this until I get it all back together. Let's see here. Oop. upside down. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. Tricky part has always been getting the ball bearing in place, because you have to get the grease will sort of hold it in place, and you got to get the spring. Ooh, that didn't work. A little bit extra grease on the runoff there, so you get the ball bearing to stay in place. You know, come on. Okay. There's a trick to this. When you're lowering it down, okay. Come on. Oh. Did I get it? Yes, I did. Now there's a lip here that goes underneath this right here. This is where you got to slide it up underneath, hold it down, and get having a magnetic screwdriver is very handy. Okay. All right. And this goes in like this, not like, well, one goes in one way, but okay, I got grease there, grease there. In point of interest, some of these screws have built-in washers in the heads. One of them goes here to hold the bar in, and the other goes on here to keep this mounted in. So and you don't want it to over tighten. Oops. Okay. Bet that was pretty jittery. I have to take that out. Okay, next we're going to put the slider back in. Alright, that works much better. Slides much better for your cueing up and down, up and down. Okay, that's much better. Much better. Yep, here we go. Okay, and next we're going to move on to, this is the repeat switch. Depending on how its position tells the drive to repeat the record. Here's a pitch wheel, and then we get into the 45 and 33, and then the stop start button. This is fairly easy. The most complicated one here is the pitch wheel, because we're going to take it apart and clean it out internally using some I'll use some contact cleaner first to cleaning, and then we'll use for clean and lube for the deoxit fader F5. Alright, we're going to take out the repeat switch. Got basically 4 screws, 2 that holds the switch in itself. These middle ones. And this one, see, this one's not near as bad, but I'm still going to clean it and re-lube it. Just take that off. Let me get this over here. We're still going to take, okay, for the switching unit part here, it just slides right off. We'll do a little bit of clean. Like they didn't have any lube on there, but it won't hurt to put any on there, because the switch, this part of the switch hits this, goes right here. Alright, we'll take that off for right now. Then you gotta take this off, because we're going to clean it out. Yeah, gotta do a little bit of power washing here. So we're going to continue on and take off. Oop. The rest of this here. Just be mindful of the screws where they go. This one with the big flat washer on here is one that holds the pitch wheel PCB down in place. There's 2 little tabs here, and then it comes right out. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. Just needed a little bit of convincing. Nice and dirty, but we'll take that apart here in a little bit. So I think, yeah, I know where that one's, exactly where that one goes. And we got a few more screws to get the rest of it out. Holds the wire clamp down. Yeah. Can't remember. Yep. Got some more to go. And bless. Here we go. Alright, got this crazy tape on here. It's so freaking old it just breaks. Yeah. It's like this little cloth tape they put on here to hold wiring in place. Alright. And you got 3 little clips here to hold the PCB in. Do one at a time here. And got a little, oh, come on, there we go, tape's holding in. 3 little things here that go into the recesses here. So I normally give the little bulbs here a little bit of cleaning. Okay, I'm going to take these switches in this part here along with this to the sink and do some power wash. Alright, I got everything cleaned and re-lubed. So it's time to put this all back together. Here it is. So PCB, you got 3 little notches here to go into 3 slots here on the plastic bracket here. Come on. And we're going to push them until you get all 3. There we go. So, one thing I didn't get done was a little bit of cleaning. Make sure all the recesses on the inside and outside where all the buttons go are all cleaned. There we go. Now we can put it back into place. Okay. Nope, not that one yet. Basically just putting it back together in the reverse order that you took it apart from. This video is going to be more detailed than my previous ones because some people needed a little bit of help with getting this all back together. See here. Nope. There we go. All right, so put this on before we put it back in, but we still need to take the pitch wheel apart. This is a critical part because the right side screwdriver here. If you don't clean this out properly, what's going to happen is your speed is going to vary and won't stay stable. I already sprayed the 33 and 45 pots here on the PCB for the speed control board. So let's take apart get a small enough screwdriver. Alright, see, I recently done one. There's this little cover here. If I can get it to pop off. I got it to pop off on the last one I worked off. Hold on. Gonna need a knife blade for this. There we go. Just get you a thin, nice little blade. Oh, there we go. This. Now, I'm not sure if you can see. Let me. I can't really pull it up too close. Here we go. Shoot. Sorry about that. Trying to get up where you can see, but inside here is where you got the carbon wheel. This is what needs to be cleaned out, and then while you're cleaning it, just take a pair of small pliers and rotate while it's all nice and wet. So there we go. Okay, I'm going to initially just do it with some contact cleaner just to get it cleaned. Okay, now we're going to do some deoxide fader F5. Just position your yourself where you can rotate it full length back and forth, because this is the deep cleaning that it needs. Because the contact's going back and forth here on the carbon wheel. This is the cleaning part, and this will keep your speed steady once you dial it in, because I'll dial these in with this in the center position, the pots over here. Yeah, once I get these dialed in with this pitch wheel in the center position, then when you won't have to do maybe minimal, because what you want to do is get this in the center position and get these dialed in, so when you switch back and forth between 45 and 33, you don't have to use this, but if you do, it's there. So Most people just squirt some in from the back or on the side or so, but if there's a way to get these apart, I think it's advantageous because you're going to get better overall cleaning. You just put the cover back on. It's got a washer in. Can't see it here. Washer and a screw. Just going to get the rest of it cleaned out inside here. Shoot. Okay, not easy to put back together, such small parts. Okay, when you put the wheel back on, you can see where it's flat on two sides. Well, it's going to be the same way on the inside. It only goes on one way. If it doesn't go together flat inside, then you don't have it together right. So now we're going to tighten the screw up. Alright, now we can put the pitch wheel back in place. The wheel goes on this side. Slide it in between the PCB just like it came out until you get it to click back into, okay, come on. There we go. There we go. Oh. Oh, it doesn't help when you put it in upside down. All right. Okay. As you can probably see, the blue wiring goes through there, and then we push it down through where, okay, come on here. There. See, now you can see me doing it, adjusting it back and forth. Alright, let's get the rest of the screws back in. If you got any leftover hardware, you missed something. Okay. And a screw with the big washer. That's what holds down the pitch wheel PCB here. Or the whole PCB, or pitch wheel and PCB assembly. Okay, now. Okay, this has been cleaned and lubed, and I cleaned the switch with contact cleaner. So now duh. I almost did a duh. Okay, there we go. Because this little peg here goes right in there. Okay, let's line up the button. Oh, much better. Okay. And I got the 2 screws down here. I think I've mentioned this before. A lot of this is very similar to the SL-D303, and I think possibly the SL-D303 or 20, because they had the same parts here on the front, just different years, models, but they use the same parts. Alright, that's for this. Is it all done? Yep. All the screws are put back in. Oops, I got one missing there. Yep. Got them all.
Just an update as I'm progressing along here. I've finished the recap on this PCB. I actually found one dead capacitor. So sometimes I wonder if I should do it or not, and that just reinforced my belief that, and from what I hear from others, recap them. So it's been recapped. This has been taken up. This is the light for the strobe. So I cleaned it out, took out the magnifying lens for the strobe light and cleaned it all out. So I'm going to be moving on here. I've already took this out and cleaned it off and applied a dab of synthetic grease underneath here. So that's good. So what I need to work on next to get this more complete is get the Tonearm wiring desoldered from the little PCB here, so I can tape it off to the side, and then I can mount the 2 RCA jacks, and I normally put the ground post right here. So I'll be working on that next. So I'm not going to bore you too much with all the details on how to do that, because that's in my some of my other videos. But I did want to highlight and show how to do these front panel buttons and switches up here, how to take them apart, clean them, and put them back together, because if you don't do it the right way, you can sort of make a mess. So anyway, I'm going to move on to this back part here. And once I get that done, then I can put the auto mechanism back up on here, because I still haven't lubed it yet. So I'll show how to lube that, or the main points on it, before we install it. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Alright, got the RCA jacks in, ground post is in, everything's been soldered in, looking really nice. This will be great. Hook up your own
cables to it. Let's see. Tape the wires down so they won't be flailing around. This is an extra ground wire that I put in from, this is the ground wire from the Tonearm, and I put in an extra. It's a solid copper wire. I think it's silver coated or something, but this goes to the auto mechanism plate here. There's usually the Tonearm wire plate that covers, let's see, this here, and to take this out, I put this wire and connect it onto the screw, and that provides the extra ground that this would normally give it. So I've been doing this on the Technics for about a year or so, maybe a couple of years now. Found it, since I'm putting in these RCA jacks and taking this plate out here, I just run this extra ground and it takes care of any extra grounding that it needs. I just thought I'd show off wires here. I custom make these ground wires. It's a banana plug. You can either, two ways you can use this on this grounding post I put on the back here. You can either just plug it in, okay, or if you want it to be a little bit more secure, the hole here, it's pretty snug, and then you just snug it down. You don't have to make it tight, and then you connect this up to the back of your phono preamp or your amplifier that has a phono input. Put it on the ground and you'll be good to go. This is copper 16 gauge speaker wire, and I put these in with each turntable that I refurb or refurb, restore, either for resale or the ones that I do for customers that send them to me or drop it off for local restoration. So I just wanted to show it's pretty easy to make. Just strip off the wire, put it in here, and then put it in here. The squeaking noise is a puppy playing in the background. Nuts. Anyway, just wanted to show it off.